Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing great, and I hope that you're enjoying your summer as much as I am enjoying mine. I know classes are about to start in a few weeks, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. This is the first summer in a long, long time. I can't even remember the last time I had a summer where I wasn't studying anything, when I wasn't getting ready to test for anything, or I wasn't taking classes. And I am now graduated from grad school, so I have a Master's of Divinity, but I am going to my PhD. And so I want to talk to you about how to pay for school. So I am blessed, first and foremost. I cannot deny that I have been blessed by God, that He has opened doors for me to be able to even come into the PhD and it being paid for. So as of right now, I have zero debt in for studying my undergrad, my grad, and now for my PhD, I will graduate with zero debt, Lord willing, because I am being blessed. And I have been blessed through many things that I've done in places that I've placed myself, worth redundancy, to be able to be paid to go to school or have school paid for. So, for example, I started my undergrad in Puerto Rico, and I started with the FAFSA, so I didn't have to pay anything. And then I went active duty into the military. And during my time in the active duty military, the 4 years that I was active, I used tuition assistance, which they paid for my school. And I get it, a lot of people that are on active duty don't want to go to school while they're on active duty because it's a lot of work. And you're not only you're working, but you're studying for promotion, or you're studying for go up on your levels. So I get it, but it is worth it because once you get out of the military, you have a bachelor's degree that is being paid for, and you can use your GI Bill for something else, which is what I did. Or if you end up serving for more than 4 years, you may have even a master's degree and then use your GI Bill for education or leave it to your kids, whichever the case may be. So I did my undergrad, was paid for by the military. I actually ended up separating, being discharged because of medical reasons, the same month that I finished my undergrad. So it was all paid for. So initially, my plan was to use my GI Bill to go to law school because that was my plan. But God was like, yeah, we're not doing that. You're going the other way and you're going to go to seminary. So I used my GI Bill to pay for my master's degree. And I could have used it to get a master's degree and pay a little bit for a doctorate. But my master's degree was actually really long, 96 credits. So I don't have that much left in the GI Bill, but I do at the same time have a little bit left, at least enough to cover the first semester. So master's paid for as well. Now, going into the PhD, like I said, I have my first semester paid for by the GI Bill, which also gives me house allowances to pay for my home. So that's the reason I didn't have to work my entire master's degree, because I had my pension plus my housing allowances. So a lot of people don't get to have a pension when they leave the military. You get to have a pension if you've served 20 years, or if you've been discharged for medical reasons and the VA has rated you as a disabled veteran. So mine, it's the second one, unfortunately. And many people say, well, you get money. Yeah, but I'm being paid every day, so I would rather trade. But it's okay. God works everything for good. At least in this case, I didn't have to work for my master's level, because I had everything paid for. School, house, everything was paid for. For my PhD, as I said for the third time now, I have a semester covered by the GI Bill, and the rest will be covered because I will be working for the school. So I have built up quite a resume with networking and getting experience and learning with people, shadowing them and interviewing them. And I was hired by the school to work for the director of the program of my master's degree. So I'll be working with him, learning a lot more, which it's great. And so the school will pay for my PhD if I do my PhD there. So at the end of this, I will have a PhD, Lord willing, and I will have a lot of experience working as a professor and with students, so I'll know how to navigate that area and whatnot. So that's the way I paid for education. I have heard that a lot of people don't want to go into higher education because they don't want to get in debt, and I completely understand that. But know that there are ways where you could do your education without getting into debt. Like I said, you could join the military and use tuition assistance and eventually your GI Bill. You could work at the school. Depending on the school, some require you to not do as many classes and then it'll take longer. I mean, I'm not saying that everything is going to be easy. It may sound like I've had it all easy. Not really. If you knew my story, getting to this point, these are blessings that had not been easy to receive. Like I've gone through a lot of things to have these blessings that I've had. But it is possible. It is possible to do higher education without having to go into debt. You could apply for loans and not loans, grants, like scholarships. Their work, not gonna lie, you have to make essays, sometimes you have to make videos, you have to put like a portfolio together sometimes, and it's a lot of work, but it is worth it because then you don't have any debt and you have your education paid for. Either way, going for higher education is going to be a work, whether you work for it, whether you work, like I worked in the military and I'm working for the school, so everything is paid for. Or you work into building this resumes, portfolios, and essays to apply for scholarships. It is feasible and you can get, there's a number of scholarships out there. Be very specific when you research them. I mean, there's scholarships for women of color that are going into theology. So if I hadn't had my PhD already covered, I would apply for that one because I am a woman of color working in theology. So if it gets that specific, there's more than likely a scholarship that will fit the criteria of who you are as a person, what you want to do in your future. There's scholarships for teachers, there's scholarships for nurses. There's a number of scholarships out there, and like I said, I'm not going to deny that they're going to be a work, but they are worth it. You could work for the school, you could work for the military, or you can get a really high paying job and pay for it out of pocket. That's also going to be a lot of work. But if you want to study, don't let money stop you. There are ways. There's always a way around. If you have any questions, any concerns, if you want ideas on where to look or how to look for funding for school, send me a message and I'll respond back. I have plenty of experience with career development, including higher education. So I hope this was of help for anybody out there. Classes are about to start, and if that's you, that you're thinking about going for higher education, whether it's just your undergrad, your master, or your PhD, but you don't want to get into student loans or more student loans. I have friends that have student loans and they don't want to get into more of them, which I understand that. There are ideas on how to pay for that without getting into more student loans. Now, if that's your only option, I will say go for it. Education is worth it. But now I'm also going to say you do not need education to be successful in life. You can be an entrepreneur. I have friends that are entrepreneurs and they're very successful. Like, I'm kind of envious of how successful they are. I'm like, wow. And they have little to none education. And it's interesting because the other day I read a quote from Mark Twain that says, "I have never let my schooling get in the way of my education." And I'm like, got it. It doesn't mean that you won't be educated. You are probably smarter than the people that are in school right now. So don't let schooling get in the way of your education. You could get educated, whether it's in an institution or you teach yourself. So, like I always say, get out there and experience life. Bye-bye.